Hi folks, Thursday Insights, that deeper dive into meteorology. So we're going to cover all the different details here. We're going to take a look all the way up through the weekend. A lot of that involves Ernesto, but as you heard about in the 24-hour forecast, if you are looking for something just kind of real quick and easy, that's what we do with Noise's Notes. 1 degree outside today. You'll find it on our homepage, 1degreeoutside.com, with Danielle. She was talking about thunderstorms today, and some of them may turn severe, particularly with gusty wind, as we've got a jet stream disturbance that's coming overhead. Now, we can plot the atmospheric energy here with the yellows and oranges and reds, and yeah, we've got at least one round of energy in an upper level storm that's over us right now. That is going to drift east, so that by Friday, we're not dealing with that. We're waiting on the next one. And actually, the fact that there is another one coming is partly what helps to keep Ernesto offshore. But it's interesting because you've got this time on Saturday where, had this thing been just a little bit closer and these two interacted, that would have pulled Ernesto closer. But this timing and the spacing works out just right so that it doesn't. Really, in meteorology, it's the other way around. It's if the timing works out just right, something gets pulled in our direction. That's why it very rarely happens around here, and we go years and years and years at a time. But nonetheless, there's Ernesto coming up near Sable Island by the time we get into a Sunday night into early Monday morning. Here we are getting ready for another jet stream disturbance that digs in on Sunday and Monday, and as you can imagine, brings a returning chance of showers into the forecast. We'll deal with that in a second. For those of you with interest in Bermuda, if you know someone who's either there or traveling there, hurricane warnings are up, and you can see the forecast wind speed here. This is Category 1 wind in orange, Category 2 wind in red. This is the island of Bermuda, and this with the timestamp in the upper left would be as we get into Friday evening, Friday night. That is the worst of it. The eye may come directly over the island. It then continues to move north from there. Notice the wind is pretty far separated from New England, but obviously our fishing grounds, when you get to the Scotian slopes, are going to find not only some big waves, but also some wind. We will get some waves here in New England. I'll cover that in a moment. And here is the storm going very close to Sable Island. It may end up going over Sable Island. The island is within the cone of probability from the National Hurricane Center. It would make its pass as a Category 1 hurricane and scrape along Newfoundland as it makes its way farther north and east by the time we get into Monday. So in terms of what that means here at home, again, we're kind of on the outskirts of this thing, but we do find the waves building. So I want to cover that for you. We're going to start out with your waves as we head into the day Friday. Still pretty quiet, although by Friday evening and night, we start to find some of the waves building along our south coast. With the waves, particularly once you start getting over 3-foot waves, will come the rip current. So the rip current arrives first to the south coast. Now, surfers get a little bit excited about this, right? Because we talk about waves that continue to build. By the time we get to Saturday afternoon, you've got 1- and 2-foot waves tucked immediately along the coast, but generally a 2- to 4-foot wave with 5- and 6-footers when you get down toward Nantucket or Chatham. Same thing when you make your way along the eastern coast of Maine. Notice the waves continuing to build. When you get along our fishing grounds, these will continue to build so that as the storm makes its way closer and closer to Sable Island, it sends the waves up. It sends the waves up here at home, but certainly for our fishing grounds, it will be no fun when we get out along about Sunday into Monday and the waves are building 10 feet, continuing to build from there as we head out into the course of Monday. So again, we've got that pass of the system happening essentially later Sunday into Monday, and that's why you end up with 14-foot waves when you get out around Emerald Basin, for example. We will continue to see those waves lasting all the way through Monday, all right? So in terms of what happens with rainfall, look, the bulk of the rain goes from Bermuda and then spreads up and stays just out offshore of the Canadian provinces, maybe with the exception of Newfoundland. But what is this going on here at home? We have our own rain to deal with. It's that separate jet stream disturbance we talked about. So we still get, let's say over the course of the next 5 days, 1/2 inch of rain in eastern New England and 1.5 inches of rain or so when you come into parts of western New England, with even more in New York and Pennsylvania, where the threat for flash flooding will be there at times. And here's why. Today we talked about the thunderstorms. They get out. Tomorrow there's a break in the action. There may be some showers by midday when you get across northern New England. And for the rest of us, there is the chance of a shower popping up during the course of the afternoon. But again, we're mostly between disturbances. So overall, there's not a lot of action. Saturday, here comes one round of showers that honestly, as we get from morning to midday, there may be one that tries to run from west to east across New England. Mostly, I think on Saturday, the highest chance of showers would be in western New England. A lot of us make it through a lot of the day without dealing with too much in the way of showers. We'll just watch that one little lobe coming through around midday with a little push of moisture in the atmosphere. That push of moisture in the atmosphere raises the humidity so that Sunday we start to watch more bona fide rain coming in from west to east. It's into western New England as we get to midday on Sunday, perhaps central New England as well, and moving east, expanding east during the course of the afternoon. So again, exact timing, I suppose we could say, is TBD a bit to this, but at the same time, you get the idea that Saturday there's a low chance of a passing shower. Not a bad day overall compared to Sunday when from west to east, that chance of rain goes up the deeper into the day that you get. High temperatures as we head into the day on Friday. For many of us, still making a run up to 80. And keep in mind, we're talking about humidity that'll be on the rise as we ride into the 80s. So that heat index may be just a couple of degrees higher. Friday night, expect temperatures to hang out in the 60s. We do have that kind of more humid air that's come into place. And it'll be in the mid 60s when you come onto the Cape as well. We think Saturday is the day that, again, you might get that midday shower in a couple of spots. It tries to run through. Mostly, we do believe it's a largely rain-free day. Although in northern and western New England, you've got a little bit higher chance of a pop-up shower. Unlikely to find that on the Cape and running in through the Boston area. By the time we get along about Sunday, this is the rain developing west to east as the day goes on. The temperature kept down to about or just under 80 degrees or so. And then you've got the humidity that's with you. You've got more in the way of rain showers are going to break out Monday. Monday's probably a bit of an unsettled day for us. And notice your temperatures are kept down a bit as a result, though the humidity would stay up. That dew point prediction pretty much stays with us all the way through Monday's showers. And then after that, look at that nice drop in dew point that takes place next week, and that lasts for several days. So there is some more comfort and plenty of it, actually, that's on the horizon. Want to remind you that if you'd like to get our app, you certainly can do that. You get the 14-day for your own location. You get all these videos at the top of the home screen as well. Just search Noises 1 degree outside weather. Hope you have a great day.